I think there's a reasonable degree of certainty about the reaction to certain outcomes. I mean, the idea if Brexit is cancelled, it should be very positive, maybe up 10% in terms of...
What are the chances that happen?
I think that's, pretty low, probably in the region of 10, 20%, not that high. Okay. I mean, if there's no deal, it would be very negative. If the Europeans...
Just the hard break?
Yeah, the hard break. You could see it return back to the 150 to 120 level.
Where it went after the...
Yeah, where it was straight after. So I think there's a reasonable degree of visibility about where the currency would go on certain outcomes. There's not a lot of visibility about what those outcomes are.
Of a second referendum? Small?
Probably, I wouldn't say small, but again, probably still less than 50% at this stage, maybe in the 20 to 25% region.
25%?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different outcomes and scenarios at this point. There's, the question is whether Theresa May will face a confidence vote, even that's not certain yet, and whether she would lose that confidence vote, then whether there would be an election. I think one of the areas where there probably isn't a lot of different scenarios is we're likely to not see much movement from the European side. I don't think we'll see, maybe new deals or new negotiations. They've been going through this for a good sort of 18 months to 2 years. I don't think there's going to be a lot more movement on the European side.
When it happened, it was 52-48. Do you think it's 52-48 anymore, or you don't? No one knows, do they?
In terms of 152?
The referendum, 52-48. That's a pretty good win. I mean, that's pretty definitive the first time around. Do you think people have rethought that now? And would there be a reason to what do you do, best 2 out of 3? 3 out of 5? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can be open-ended on this. I think I think you're right. I think no one knows. I think it would be close again. Maybe you'd be 52-48 the other way. I still think it's going to be very close to 50%. So to your point, there's still going to be a lot of volatility, and no one's really going to know the final outcome until very close.
What's that 75% in terms of how it proceeds? What do you think is the most likely?
Well, I think things will get a little worse before they get better. Probably the initial deal that's been posed by the Europeans or agreed a couple of days ago will be defeated in the UK Parliament. But then I don't think we'll see any movement from the European side, and eventually I think a deal very close to what we've got already on the table will ultimately be agreed, whether it's the current Prime Minister or whether it's another Prime Minister. I think we'll go to like 125, maybe a little below that, 124-ish, somewhere in that region. But come close to early next year, March, we'll be above 130 again.
Do you think the dollar or the dollar index is getting toppy, or has it got a long way to go?
It's toppy. I mean, I would be more seller of the dollar than a buyer, but I don't think it's going to start going down super soon. We're probably talking more middle of 2019.
I just think, you're seeing some of the Fed futures sort of go down, basis points at this point, but the rate, it looks like there's been an inflection point on whether we were way far away from neutral or now maybe, I think there's a thinking. We'll hear from Clarida today. We'll see what he said.
Well, I think the Fed Chair Powell yesterday mentioned for the very first time, he mentioned the global environment. He mentioned, maybe the fiscal stimulus will start to fade. So, the Fed isn't finished tightening yet, but for the first time, they may be starting to think about maybe we won't keep going as fast as we are.